From Alaska Teen Media Institute, this is Podcast in Place, Youth Stories from Quarantine, a series about youth in Alaska during the COVID-19 pandemic. We're bringing you stories, interviews, and audio diaries from teenagers and young adults stuck indoors without anything else to do. I'm ATMI producer Rowan Pickard, recording this on April 14th, 2020 in my humble abode, since the main ATMI studio is closed for the time being. Today we'll be hearing from ATMI producer Ryan Danigole, a freshman at UAA. He interviewed his mother, who is a nurse at a local hospital. He'll also talk about how the pandemic has affected their lives. Here is Ryan Danigole recorded in his home studio on April 9th, 2020.
Can't believe I'm doing this. I honestly didn't think it'd get this far, but here we are. I'm now recording some of the podcasts from my own home studio, which should be fun. As I say, everything's changed so recently. My day now becomes like I wake up at 9, which is pretty nice, because usually I wake up at 6 a.m. I wake up at 9. Just give myself some time to wake up, get myself settled, eat lunch probably at noon. I just get up and just start schoolwork. No matter what it is, no matter what time it is, just you know what, I'm just going to do schoolwork from noon till 9 p.m. Usually splitting up my classes between 3-hour increments. So I usually do about 3 classes a day, except for Friday. Friday is just the one class, because typically during the week, that's when I have that one class. And I usually give myself 2 days off. It's usually Tuesday and Thursday. And usually when I'm not working on schoolwork, I am tending back to my old ways of doing ADR projects, because that's my thing. I just love doing ADR stuff. It's so fun. Just can't get enough of it sometimes. So besides that, although I must admit, ADR projects are pretty hard now that it's just me, my mom, my dad, and my brother. I'm the only one in my family who acts. No one really else does it. My dad, he's no longer working right now. He works for the FBI. So they're shut down currently. My mom is a nurse, so luckily she's still working, and she's still working her normal times, honestly. She still goes in for 3 days, does her 12-hour shifts, 12.5-hour shifts usually, and then comes home and is very tired afterward, especially now since there's so many patients, so many things to stress about. So in light of that, I asked my mom, hey, do you want to interview for the podcast? Because they're doing a quarantine event. And she was like, sure, send me the questions. So I sent her the questions, and she was just like, okay, here's the deal. I can answer some of these, but I can't tell you where I work, because that was originally a question. It's like, what hospital do you work at? She can't tell me that. She couldn't tell me anything about their process to handling patients with COVID-19. What their procedures are, and anything about who she works with. I could ask the environment was like, but I couldn't ask specific questions oh, how is Miss So-and-so, or how's Mr. X or Y? But asking her and coming up with questions, it really makes you think. My mom is going out almost whenever she works, and she's just going kind of right into the heart of it. She's dealing with patients every day, and it makes me worry in the back of my mind. I know it's bad, but I know my mom, she's very safe and cautious about that kind of thing. She never comes home with something she doesn't know she has. So if she did catch it, she's almost the type who would know. She'd be like, all right, I have it. No one come close to me. And at this point, I'm not even concerned about me catching it. I'm more concerned that she will, because although I have faith in my mom, and she's a grown woman, but you just can't help but worry sometimes. So I'll cut my time short, and we'll go right into the interview. What is your name and what is your job?
My name is Jennifer, and I am a registered nurse in Alaska.
Okay. How did you get into nursing?
I kind of fell into nursing. I wanted to initially become a veterinarian, and then life happened, and I needed a job, so I just kind of fell into it. Okay. And my patients don't bite me, so that's a positive.
How long have you been nursing?
I have been a nurse for almost 20 years.
20 years?
Yes.
Like, what do you mainly do?
I am a charge nurse on a medical oncology unit. So I am in charge of patient assignments, making sure the nurse is comfortable and can do their job safely. I'm also in charge of patient care, making sure patients are getting what they need from physicians, therapists, the nurses, the doctors. Yeah.
You sound entertained. Is it fun?
It's fun. Yeah, it is. It has challenging moments, but it's fun. It's a fun job. I enjoy the people I work with, so that makes it great.
Yeah. So what was the hospital's kind of first reaction to all this going on?
They were very well prepared. They already have like an emergency plan in place. We have emergency. I don't know what exactly the person does, but he is in charge of like emergency response for natural disasters and outside disasters and even internal disasters. So he kind of is in charge of all of that. So they were very well prepared.
When did you first know that like this was going to be a serious pandemic kind of deal?
It's a virus. So, I mean, a coronavirus is a virus that causes the common cold. So there are multiple coronaviruses. So when you hear that there's a new virus, you kind of know it can be serious just because it's something new. It's a virus. Usually most viruses are very easily spread. So when you first heard about it, especially knowing that a lot of goods and tourism and things like that come out of China into the United States, you kind of know it's going to be a problem, or it could be a problem.
Okay. But did you think it was ever going to get like this big? Like they were going to be like, we're going to shut down everything. Some places are even like you're not allowed to go outside past a certain time.
No, initially I didn't think it would be that bad, but given the severity of it, I understand why they're doing it.
Yeah. What's your environment like on the floor that you work on?
Right now it's kind of quiet and calm. I like to say it's the calm before the storm. So right now everybody's calm, collected, just focused on patient care and providing good patient care.
Are you nervous that you'll get the virus from work and then come home and spread it to us, to your family?
That's always a concern. But so yeah, I mean, but I am exposed to a lot of things at work that I could potentially bring home to my family. I just make sure I follow the proper precautions with hand washing and changing clothes and showering and all that before I get hugs and snuggles from my kids and animals.
Nice. What part of your daily routine has like changed since then?
I have to wear a surgical mask on a floor, which is challenging. And I mean, we wash our hands and use the foaming in and foaming out stuff constantly all the time. So that's a change.
They got y'all carrying around little hand sanitizers yet, or?
No, we don't carry around hand sanitizers. We have hand sanitizers in every room and outside of every door.
Okay. Are there people on your floor that are dressed differently because of it?
No, there are people on my unit are able to wear their scrubs, and we just wear the surgical mask. Other units that are designated as COVID units, they wear different scrubs. They get their scrubs from the hospital and leave them at the hospital.
Okay. Are there any materials that you find that you're lacking right now, or?
No, not right now. Our hospital's very well prepared.
Do you think that social distancing will flatten the curve?
I would hope so. People aren't around each other interacting, so that's always a a good thing, but I'm more concerned about the curve going up once social interaction begins again, because of the herd immunity kind of situation. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Okay, so I have it in my notes. So recently you asked me to get a bunch of shirts that I used to wear but don't wear anymore. What was the deal with that?
Because the surgical masks that we wear are very irritating to our ears, and I was getting a really bad headache. One of our nurses is making headbands out of t-shirts with buttons by the ears, so we can loop the surgical masks to that rather than around our ears, because with us, with the masks on 12 and a half, 13 hours a day, it can be very irritating to your ears.
Do you think the surgical mask, help?
I guess. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. Where can people go to find out more about what hospitals are doing for COVID-19?
You should go to, you can look at the different websites. I know Anchorage Daily News has a lot of information on what the hospitals are doing. Also, go to your hospital's web pages, the different hospitals' web pages. They all have Facebook pages. Look at those and see what they're doing. That way you can get information that each facility is doing to safeguard their patients and their staff.
Okay. Well, thank you for having the time to interview with us.
You're welcome.
That was ATMI producer Ryan Danigole interviewing his mother, recorded in his home studio in Eagle River. You've been listening to Podcast in Place, Youth Stories from Quarantine from Alaska Teen Media Institute. Our show's theme music was composed by Devin Schreckengost with additional music from Kendrick Whiteman. This podcast was made possible in part by the Alaska State Council on the Arts and United Way. If you'd like to support Youth Voices in Anchorage and help keep our podcast going, you can donate to our organization by going to alaskateenmedia.org and click Donate. Also on our website, you can learn more about what our organization does, listen to past episodes of our podcast, or find out how you too can get involved. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Stay tuned for more stories from quarantined youth. For Alaska Teen Media Institute, I'm Rowan Pickard, and thank you for listening. Stay safe out there, and we'll get through this together.